Hello and a wonderful warm welcome to today's episode of Today and Tomorrow. In this episode, we're exploring the innovative solutions and urgent challenges facing our planet in the 21st century. And our guest today has a technology that has the potential to make a significant contribution to reducing our global carbon emissions. So I'm very happy to be here together. Sanjay isn't here today. He says hi to all of you out there. He's going to be back in the next episode. But we have Dieter. Dieter, who's our guest today?
Well, the laureate of the Holistic World Innovation Trophy we announced only in November in Barcelona. Well, Marcus, you couldn't be there, and I understand as a carbon company, you're not really willing to travel a lot and to increase by that the carbon footprint. And well, it would have been around the world, but since you are in Australia.
Yeah.
And usually we are talking about digital technologies, but now we are back to the much more down-to-earth engineering. And I think this is a great approach for our podcast too. And yeah, because what you guys are doing is you're not only pumping carbon out of the air, you're also taking completely new ways of using the carbon. So, well, what to do with carbon when it's lying around? You have a solution for that. So,
Yeah.
really happy to have you here.
No, thanks very much. And thanks for having me on the show. It's really it's quite significant this year with the technology. I founded the company MCi Carbon 16 years ago. So as they say with many ventures, it takes you 16 years to be an overnight success. But this year's been a really tremendous breakthrough for us as a company that's got global recognition. Having started 16 years ago and been funded by our governments for 10 years, we've now come out of that R&D incubation cycle, if you will, with a significant technology that can lock away millions, if not billions, of tons of CO2 emissions and stopping them from going in the atmosphere in the first place, or taking it out of the atmosphere when we need to. So it's really exciting to have got the global or the Holistic World Innovation Award. I really appreciate having been awarded that, as well as some of the other accolades we've received this year around sustainability and circular economy. It's been quite a ride, and what is in global turbulent times. I mean, the COP28 didn't produce much for us this year, and that's a testament to the fight that we're on, the road to net zero.
Marcus, because we delved a little bit deeper into the topic, could you tell us a little bit more about you, about your background, about your company? Who are
Sure.
you? What are you doing? And what's your big mission for the world?
So, yes, we are on a mission. MCi Carbon is about 50 people, chemical engineers, geologists, business people, environmentalists. What we've done is we looked around 16 years ago when I started, and I thought, what could we possibly do with that much CO2? I did a TED talk on it at the time, but it took me a good 6 years to get the funding from our governments to back our idea. And our idea is this: the Earth already absorbs CO2 from the atmosphere into rocks over geological time, over millions of years. What if we could speed that up? And rather than taking a million years to absorb CO2, we could do it within minutes. And so what we've done is we've developed a technology that basically speeds up that process. It's enhanced weathering. And so it basically, what we do, the concept is we take CO2 from whichever source we can get it from. It can be captured from a steel plant or a cement or wherever we can capture it out of the atmosphere. And what we do is we turn that from a gas to a solid. And we do that by reacting the CO2 with calcium or magnesium containing materials. And so they can be wastes in industry like steel slags, or we can use virgin rock. So we can quarried rock that you usually use for road base. So you find these around your cities. They're big quarries that produce the rock that goes into cement and concrete. And so what we do is we react the CO2 with that. And what happens, it creates these new materials that are embodied carbon embodied materials, carbonates and silicates. And what we do is and then we sell those, or we plan to use those with formulations of cement and building materials and things like that, which then lowers the carbon intensity. So it's a double reduction in carbon, capturing it and then displacing high carbon with low carbon materials. This is a big idea and a big play. And we're proving with our customers and with the interest around the world that this is scalable.
Well, I know that there is a plant doing similar things in Iceland, and they pump it into the soil, into the concrete rocks of our planet's basement, and so it's a good thing actually to stabilize.
There's good pathways
to stabilize mining districts that have a lot of problems with
waste,
with unstable crowds. But on the other hand, but these are limited, so there's a lot of carbon we have to reduce. So I think your approach is a little bit different. But so what is the difference between the technologies that are used in Iceland and what are your ideas for using these carbon materials in a wider way?
So really it's about if you can turn the carbon into value, then it should be our first choice. It should be the first choice we do, is to turn it into value, because then there's little barriers for it to be adopted. So we really are focused on that. And so we've generalized a technology which you see behind me. This is a global reference pilot plant. And what it does is that we test different materials from like hundreds of places around the world, our customers who have materials to test it with, and we test and we do the techno-economics to validate this. And so we can say, if we build a plant for you to take away your emissions and then create value, this is what we'd be producing. And you can go to your local manufacturers or local industry and say, would you buy this material? We have done a lot of assessments with everything from home brand, washing detergents, right through to glass and paper and carpets and all kinds of materials that could use our product. Instead of high carbon intensive or for big fossil developed materials. So we're a substitution for those. So I would say the difference is that we are a technology that is now a generalized technology that many different types of industries can use, not just one, and we create value, always so that there's more value created than the cost. So this is economical. This is something you can invest in to get to scale. And we're not just with one industry. It's whichever industry has an emission and whichever industries need the materials. So we basically play into the circular economy. There are many great technologies that are emerging, but the key is, can they scale? And so they've really got to make a difference in the impact. And so we are very, very careful to really not make outlandish claims or to overstate what the opportunities are. So we're very, very methodical in what's called the life cycle assessments. So because we've been funded by our government, we've had to maintain a high level of integrity around, where we're growing, what we're doing, who we're doing it with. So we're a very values-led organization. So we also understand there's two games being played in the world right now. There's the race to net zero and there's climate delay. And the fossil fuel industry are going to play climate delay because they don't want their business to go out of business. But we shouldn't also look at the fossil fuel industry and then, treat them like bad citizens. We've got to respect that they have to phase out and they need pathways. So we're quite happy to help the dirtier industries to phase out, but we will not allow more fossils. So we will not lend our technology to new fossil fuel deployments or builds or anything like that. We will get rid of the emissions now and into the future, but we will not enable. So that's part of our value proposition to industries.
When you look at the this year and then the climatic turmoils we had, what is your time frame on that? How fast you can implement your technology in a significant way so it makes a difference? Because it feels right now like there's not much time left to do so.
There's not much time left. So that's why, my company, all my people are on a mission. Our mission is to lock away 1 billion tons, a gigaton of CO2 per year by 2040. That's our mission. Now, to get to that scale, we need to deploy our technology quite broad and wide, probably about 300 to 500 plants, but understand that these plants are investable. And so they create the new materials that we need to get to peak population, by 2060, for example. That we are seeing the rise of India and the amount of materials we need to basically underpin the transition to clean energy is not insignificant either. So all of this goes towards the concept that we have to deploy faster, we have to be more efficient, we have to choose those technologies that make a real impact, and get us towards 1.5 degree or God forbid 2 or 2.5 degree, kind of 2050. So we're on the race to net zero, and many others are as well. But kind of the real challenge actually, and I really want to put this on the table, is that climate finance has not appeared yet. We have government grants and we have big swathes of cash going to the IRA, into the EU, innovation fund and stuff like that. But actually, the capital we need, the $1 trillion per year or more, but all the way to 2050, is not here. It's not visible. It hasn't emerged yet because capital markets cannot price in the kind of risk and the kind of profile of the technology scale-ups, technology risk, and bridging to get to infrastructure funding, which is well known and well accepted. But we all need 500 or 1,000 technologies to be invested in, and this is the unfortunate position we find ourselves in with basically kind of the lack of climate capital.
Markus, you talked about industries and technology that is merging, and we talked a little bit about countries. You're in Australia, we heard about Iceland, but the issue we're talking about is a task for the world. So how crucial is, in your opinion, collaboration between countries, businesses, communities, and so on to really tackle the challenges?
It's the engine. No, it is the engine. Collaboration is the engine. I mean, it's got to happen, and it's got to happen more widely. So, Australia and Japan are collaborating quite closely, for example, because they are very energy dependent on Australia. So we've turned around to them and said, well, hey, we should be developing the technologies that allow us to lock away the CO2 or to get you on a path to net zero, even though you're still going to be transitioning away from gas, certainly away from coal very quickly. So coal is going quickly, but it's gas and oil that we've really got to worry that unless we deliberately have government regulations and strategies and run a parallel game in renewables and in clean energy at the same time as oil and gas are being forced to curtail their aspirations and their growth, then nothing's going to happen. So it's actually the collaboration and the agreements of trading carbon credits between our countries, for example. That's still not happening. I mean, we're far away from a carbon price, a universal carbon price. We're far away from a carbon price that meets the social cost of carbon, which is more at about $500 per tonne. If you do your sums, that's probably what it costs really to our environment, to humanity, is $500 a tonne. That's what would give the action to actually have us deal with it.
How do you evaluate the decisions made at the COP conference in Dubai now? Because they were going towards an exiting fossil fuels. Yeah.
Look, I had high aspirations for what any COP would produce. This was really about accounting to where the targets, how they're going on meeting the their aspirations on their Paris goals. Unfortunately, it was when you're in the lion's den and you're in the UAE, who are an oil and gas nation. I was really disappointed with the opening speech, for example, which really kind of set the pace, which was that there's no, what was claimed was that there was no scientific basis for us needing to reduce fossil fuels in the world. That's what the COP president said, and it's so unfortunate that while the world's eyes, hopes, and aspirations on dealing with with our emissions and getting towards a net zero future, that the host nation president should say that, the COP president. I think it really did set the pace. I mean, all the good stuff's done not in that in those forums anyway. They're done outside of COP on the side events. I think all the really good stuff that we see, which is all about the collaboration that you talked about, and about the networking effect, and getting projects up and all that kind of stuff. They're the real things. And so what was disappointing was I don't think anything formal came out of COP that's enduring. But there is certainly enduring stuff from all the collaborations, the sidelines, the forums, the meetups, even the coincidental meetups of like-minded nations, peoples, and corporations. That's what COP is actually for, and that's why we like it and we usually go. But this time we've been too busy building our technology and having some great successes, and kind of looking to build our first plant in Austria. With our partners, RHI Magnesita. They've identified our technology can help them get their last 30% towards net zero as a world's largest refractory producer. So these are the kinds of things that are happening to us, which are really exciting. But remember, COP26 was our big one, where we got named the #1 technology in the world out of 2,700 startups. MCi Carbon was named #1 clean technology in the world, and from that position in Glasgow, which was a great COP, it's kind of hard to get better than that. So we're pretty judicious about which COPs we go to. Mind you, we're going to World Economic Forum in January, which should be very good because we're participating in some carbon forums there, and in fact leading some of the initiatives ourselves. So it's really exciting too. Look, it's a shame I couldn't get to Barcelona. I really would have liked to have accepted the award in person. But it's a great thing to be awarded an international award, and especially in innovation. It's at the heart of what I do. I've been an innovator all my life, as a software engineer to start, and then through different ventures. I've been very successful across a lot of different walks of life. But in 2007, I sold my last company to a big multinational software company and said, what do I really want to do with my life? And I thought, climate change is something I want to put at least 20 years towards. And, 16 years into the journey with MCi Carbon, we are almost there. We're almost ready to deploy on scale across the world, building carbon plants to lock away millions, if not billions of tons into carbon embodied materials for the circular economy. That's a great mission. My people are all on board. We've got a great team. We've got multiple teams, and it's all about people. It's the people of the world that will solve climate change.
And those are nearly wonderful final words, but I have one final question for you. What would be your call out to governments, to countries out there, to people, to communities? What would you want them to listen to? What do you want to say to them?
Look, everyone can do something. And what that is your money, is your vote for a better future. So absolutely think about when you deploy, you buy something, you're buying a new car, you're buying, a new heater, or you're buying electrical appliance, or you're buying something. Think about what is the best option, and it doesn't have to be the most expensive option. And when the best option is the best option for the environment or for sustainability, then we know we're on the right track. And I think we're getting there. So be conscious. Just be conscious about how you do that, and understand also, if you're in a big corporation that doesn't have your values, then don't work for that corporation. Find a company, find a job, find a role where you can actually put your purpose and align it with your values, because you should not be the agent of evil for a company that is not a good citizen. Do not work for a company that is exploiting the environment, or is too slow, or is disingenuous, or is greenwashing. Like, don't be part of it. Do not be part of it, because if you work for it, you are part of it, and you are part of climate delay. Don't be part of climate delay. Join the race to net zero. That's my suggestion.
Yeah, and it just struck me that you also probably solved another problem, because we have a big lack of sand because with all the construction going on. And if
Absolutely.
you turn that into construction materials, there is a replacement for this sand, making it even more carbon neutral constructing.
Absolutely. That's so in any solutions, if you get involved in a solution, make sure that it's truly making impact, and it's not just something that's a smokescreen, or it's not actually achieving it. It might look good. It's a marketing ploy. I mean, actually get involved in something that makes a difference, and there's plenty of different ways you can do that. But as I say, it's the people. It's you and me. It's us. We people who will solve climate change. It's not a technology and it's not a company. It's actually us. And I think that's what needs to be brought home, is that this is a human movement. This actually, climate change is a human movement of sustainability, of a better world. And people can bring that together in whichever way they can apply their talents. But importantly, how you spend your money. That is a vote. That is your vote.
And that was with so much passion. And I say thank you, Marcus, for being here with us, being on the show and sharing your vision, your mission, and everything with us and the audience of Today and Tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Thank
we
you.
appreciate your time.
And I'm looking forward to the next episode again with Saudi. And yeah, thank you, Marcus, from my side too.
Thank you.
So that was the third episode of Today and Tomorrow. Thank you, everyone out there, for listening to us, to viewing us wherever you get it. If you like our wonderful new format, then please follow us, give us a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're looking forward to the next episode. Now we wish you a wonderful Christmas time, a wonderful time, and a wonderful end of the year. Thank you again, Marcus. Thank you, Dieter. See you next time, and bye-bye.